How are we doing today? Good. Well, I was really impressed with the attitude that the players came back with today, and everybody seems to be taking a serious approach to what they have to do to be positive, prepare for the game, have fun, preparing for the game, and creating value for their future. Um, this is not something that is not important to us. We have a lot that we can prove, in this game. We're going to play a really good team that plays sort of old-fashioned, tough, very disciplined, well-coached. So there's not any way to make it easy to prepare for a team like that. So for us to have the right mindset and have a good respect for what it takes to have success against a good team like this, I think is imperative in how we go about trying to, prepare for this game. So, we want to take these first few practices and just work on fundamentals, try to get back into football. The players had 4 simulated trainings and 4 lifts in the time that we were off. But still, no matter what, it's still been a while since we played. So, we really got to work hard to, try to get people back fundamentally, get them in condition so they can sustain, and, get other guys that will have opportunities to play in this game ready to play in the game. So, we're really proud of the fact that, we had 13 graduates, this last weekend. That brings, I think, 27 total on the roster, that'll be on the roster, for this particular game. Congratulated all the players who got awards today in the team meeting. Players were really excited and, proud of, the guys that got honored by whether it was the SEC, made All-American, won individual awards like, Will. And I think that, Will and Bryce coming back to playing the game speaks volumes of, the kind of culture that we have in the program, and guys like that, wanting to, try to improve themselves and have respect for their teammates to come back. They're the leaders on the team. They're the most inspirational players. So that's something I think that is very special as well. So, these guys earned the right to play in the Sugar Bowl, which is very prestigious in its own right. So, hopefully we're going to be able to get the guys that we have on our team, focus on what we have to do to coach them and get them better, and go out and try to play the best we can against a very good team.
Start up friendly with Nick.
Yeah, in those conversations with Bryce and Will, what did they communicate to you as to why they want to be back here and playing this game?
Well, it's kind of interesting that people opt out of playing, for their team, and the way you create value for yourself is to play football. That is the best way you can create value for your future. And when you do that against good competition, I think that creates value for your future. I hear guys all the time say, I'm going to get ready for the NFL. Well, what do you mean? You're getting ready for the combine? A lot of the things you do at the combine are not even relevant to what you do on the football field. So, every time you have an opportunity to compete, if you're a great competitor, and I think these two guys are great competitors, and, that's why they wanted to play, and that they want to try to continue to create value for themselves, be good teammates, help their teammates play, well in the game, and that may sound old-fashioned in a lot of ways, but I sort of respect that.
Go to the other side of Michael and then
Yeah, did they come to you and seek advice on what you thought they should do for this?
I told them both that it was their choice in terms of what they, wanted to do. And we discussed the pros and cons of it, and they made their decisions.
Just overall, these past 2 or 3 weeks, just how has that compared to your expectations going in, not only about players opting out, but also about, the transfer portal and how many players would leave?
Look, it is what it is. I have no control over it. I have a lot of respect for the guys that, sort of want to be at Alabama, want to play for Alabama, want to compete for Alabama, want to be a part of the team, have respect for their teammates in terms of what they can do to help their, team. So, but it's the culture of college football, and people have the choice to do whatever they choose to do, and my choice is to coach the guys that we have here that want to play for us.
Charlie?
I know they can't play in the game, but how beneficial is it for some of the early enrollees to get on campus and be able to go through some of these practices with you guys?
Yeah, I think that, they have to go through acclimation, which is, these guys came off of playing 15 games, some of them, 12, 13, 14, 15 games of high school that just ended a week or two ago. So it's not summertime, it's not hot outside. So that part of it, like they have to go out in helmets for 2 days and, all that. So it's beneficial in that they're in the meetings, they have a chance to learn, they get on the field, they learn something every day. They may not get the reps because at some point in time we have to rep the guys that are going to be able to play in a game. But just the experience of seeing what, college football practice is like, what meetings are like, how you got to focus, how you got to learn. I think to help their development, I think this is, really a huge advantage for them.
Back to Brian.
Coach, I know it was the first getting started prepping for Kansas State, but what have you seen so far with them, and what kind of competition are you going to see on New Year's?
Well, these guys got a really good team. They beat TCU in the championship game. They were ahead of them 28-10 in the other game, the first game that they played against them. This is a really good team. They can run the ball. They're physical. They got a good offensive line. They got a good runner. Quarterbacks play well. They got good skill guys on offense. Their defense plays physical, tough, come out of the top and strike you. This is a good, old-fashioned, well-coached, disciplined, tough, good football team. And they could make an argument that, since they beat one of the teams that are in the playoffs, maybe they should be in the playoffs. So I think this is a really good team.
Go to Tony, and then if we got any follow-ups.
Given the state of the portal, how do you go about building depth at a position and sustaining it when everybody wants to have instant playing time?
Look, players leave. You have the opportunity to recruit other players. So you have two sources of getting players. You have, you can get players out of the portal. If you find somebody that you think is going to be a positive addition to your team, or you recruit young players that you think are going to develop and be a positive addition to your team. I think being able to do this now, you can't replace anybody now, so you got to you just got to play with what you got. And there's quite a few teams that are playing in bowl games that have a significant number of guys that have gotten in the portal. So we're working hard to help these guys that are here with us to develop a future and create value for their future, regardless of what their circumstance is. But the portal was the portal, so you can't get somebody out of the portal and come play in this game. So how do you create depth out of the portal right now? You can't do it. You do it later, and you can replace whoever leaves, and that's the numbers that you have to work with, and you got to make good choices and decisions about, who you recruit and how they're going to fit on the team.
Here on the right.
Yeah, on Bryson Will and everybody else playing, what does it mean to you as their coach that some of your biggest leaders want to finish out the season? And as a sport, what do you think it means for college football for some of the biggest players to stay and play the bowl game?
Well, I think it sets a great example for guys that respect their teammates, want to be a part of their team, know the impact that they can make, the value that they can make, that they can create for themselves by playing well against good competition. So I'm extremely proud of these guys. We're going to support them in every way that we can. As an institution, we've minimized the risk of them playing in the game by ensuring them the best that we possibly can, so that they're not taking a big risk by playing as much as you can, taking the risk out of it for them. And I can't tell you how much I respect them as competitors, guys that have been great teammates on this team, the leadership that they have given and shown, and I think the leadership that they continue to show by playing in this game.
Finish up two more, Katie, and then Michael.
How does bowl season practice kind of different than the rest of the year, and maybe more reminiscent of fall camp, whether it's, like you said, guys, going back to the fundamentals or not having class to distract them and things like that?
Well, football is football, but I think because you have a significant amount of time off, you have to go back to square one and try to start out almost like you're starting camp. And then once you get through 3 or 4 of those practices, then you can start practicing more like you're getting ready for a game. But that's the only significant difference. I mean, to me, you got to approach this like it's a 1-game season, really. So you got to start from scratch, build up, and then do game prep. It's hard to so much time to carry the end of the season to the next game. So you got to sort of switch gears. And you know, I think the players did a pretty good job in the time off of trying to maintain the conditioning level. So they were pretty well prepared to get started at practice today.
Finish up with Mike.
The offensive line, there were a lot of transfers since the last game. How's the depth look at that position?
Well, I think you guys know who's on the team. I mean, we don't have any secret admirers that snuck in, you know, like in the middle of the night. So it is what it is. We're going to coach the guys that we have, and you know, it'd be an opportunity for some other players to get a lot of playing time, certainly get a lot of practice time, get a lot of repetitions, and hopefully that enhances their chances to be successful in the future. All right, thank you.